We're back, we're naked, and we're ready to party.
You're not really naked, are you?
Not physically, but here on the Naked Party Time podcast, we get real and raw about life, leadership, and love. So what do you say? Are you ready to get naked?
Let's do it.
Who are our favorites?
Everybody wants to know.
Everybody wants to know. And today on the Naked Party Time podcast, we are having a favorites takeover.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Although it's not really our favorites, although they think they are.
Yeah.
Our daughter Jaydah and her best friend Marlo are taking over the podcast today, and they do a phenomenal job. They are vulnerable, they are real and raw about their own life experience, their own friendship, their own walk with the Lord. We are both super proud of them. So welcome back, or welcome for the very first time to the Naked Party Time podcast. As always, I am hosting this. My name is Jeff Manis, and I'm joined by my wife, my co-host, my hurricane honey,
Ooh.
my tropical storm barrel babe,
Yes.
my wife, and my podcast queen, Sabrina. How you doing, Sabrina?
I'm doing good. I like that.
Yeah, isn't that good?
A little mix it up.
Yeah, that's right. We are expecting tropical storm barrel. It's a hurricane right now out in the Gulf, but it is barreling towards, no pun intended, the Gulf Coast. And so we're bracing for that, getting this podcast out. This should release on Tuesday, and barrel should be gone by then.
Yeah.
We're praying for all those who have been affected and will be affected by this tropical storm. But we just wanted to jump on here, say hello to anybody who's joining us on YouTube as well, and set up the podcast that Jaydah, our youngest daughter, and her best friend Marlo did, where they talked about all sorts of things. We just had a chance to listen to their podcast.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was really good. I was surprised by some of the transparency.
Yep.
I thought they were very, very brave. They
Yep.
did an excellent job.
They did.
I could not have done that at 17. So
Yep.
very impressed.
Yep. They asked to take over the podcast. They wanted to share some things on there, talk about their own faith journeys. Jay talked to some about what it's like to be a pastor's kid, what it was like to move to a new church. And I thought they did just a really, really good job. They also talk about maintaining their friendship across so many miles. Every year we've been here, we brought Marlo down. She's come down. Every year we've been
Every
here.
summer, yeah.
Yeah.
She spent like a month with us,
Yeah.
and they go to youth camp.
Yep,
in
they just
that.
went to youth camp together. So anyway, they're going to take over the podcast, and you're going to love it. They do just a fantastic job, and super proud of them. So thanks, Jaydah and Marlo, for leading the podcast this month. We'll be we also need to let everybody know who the winner is.
Drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. For our 4-year well, how long are you doing the drum roll?
I don't know.
Our 4-year podcast anniversary, we did a drawing. If you listened all the way through the podcast last time, you learned the instructions on how to enter the drawing. And the winner of the gift card, we'll ask them what they want, is Coleman Hazel.
Woo!
Thanks, Coleman, for listening. Thanks for sharing. You won the gift card. I'll reach out to you, and you can let me know what you guys want. And again, thanks for everybody who participated. And keep on listening, keep on sharing. And now, without further ado, here are Jaydah and Marlo on the Favorites Takeover.
What's up, party people? Clearly, you can probably tell this is not Jeff Manis. It is his favorite daughter.
Marlo.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
So, me and my best friend Marlo are here for a Takeover podcast episode.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're very glad to be here, and
So blessed.
hopefully you love hearing our voices or seeing us on camera for people who are watching. But, yeah, so I guess we'll just talk about or do you want to talk about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so my name's Marlo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually from Wyoming, but I'm from all over. I grew up in a military family, and yeah, we've lived all around from New Mexico to England, and Wyoming is where my parents retired and where I met the lovely Manis family.
Yep, that is us. So you grew up in military.
I did.
Yeah, how was that?
So it was a lot of experiences, a lot of new things whenever you're that young. I mean, there's not a lot that I remember, but it was really fun just moving around, but it made a big impact on, who I am today. And yeah, I think we'll
What
talk more
age did
about
you
it.
move to Wyoming?
I moved to Wyoming when I was like 8. So a lot of the moving around, both of my parents were in the military, but my mom retired whenever I was born. So I grew up with her around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, he was in the military my entire life growing up. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I already knew that, but
That's
okay.
really
Now
cool.
we are gonna talk about a little bit about our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So, when and how did we meet?
We met.
I remember when we met. We had a mutual friend, and we met at her house. I was at her house, like, having a sleepover, and Marlo and her mom and maybe dad came over.
Yeah.
And they were just hanging out, and that's the first time we met, and we all just, like, clicked. Like, me and you clicked.
Yeah.
And that was, like, the first night we met.
And that was in, like...
It was in the middle of 4th grade.
4th grade?
Mm-hmm. It was 4th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure it was in 3rd?
No, it was.
Okay.
It definitely was not 3rd.
Okay.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Then...
Yeah.
What?
We were in the same class in 5th grade.
Mhm.
And that's when we really...
That's when we really became, like, best friends.
Yeah.
And then we're actually no longer friends with that girl that we were mutually friends with. But, yeah, that's how we met. And we've been friends for 8 years now.
Mm-hmm. Through all the phases.
All the phases. And how do you think we have maintained our friendship after I have moved 1,100 miles away?
So, okay. I really think that we were close before, and definitely, but we were young. I think that you moving away brought us closer together, and I think
agree.
we could agree on that.
Mhm.
And I don't know what it is. What's that verse that we always talk about? It's something Proverbs.
Proverbs
and-
27:4.
What is it?
It's like,
It's something that like some friends are just like family or something.
yeah,
like that.
yeah. It's something like that.
I don't know. We're really Jesus. Okay, here's the thing. Jesus definitely hasn't been part of our friendship, our entire
No,
friendship.
No.
But so many characteristics of like a Christ-centered relationship has always been like your
Mhm.
burdens have always been my burdens.
Mhm.
My burdens have always been yours.
Yeah.
We've always loved each other. Like all those things that you would look for in a Christ-centered have always been in our friendship, even though we didn't know it was Jesus.
Yeah. And within our friendship, we've never had like a falling out where we wouldn't talk to each other for like a month, where a lot of friendships have that. And then they're like best friends after that again. But we've never had that. We've never had toxicity within our relationship with just us, which I think has definitely helped us maintain our friendship, because we know, even though we may not talk to each other for a week, as soon as we get back together, we're right back to where we started.
Pick up for
Yeah. So I think, I don't know. I just think
it's blessed.
It's
a big blessing. I don't know, but
there's nothing really that like we don't even FaceTime.
no,
We don't FaceTime. We barely text. Like we like do Snapchat videos and stuff to like catch each other up, but that's it. I think we're just blessed to have this great relationship.
We really are. It's like, it's weird.
It is weird because like I mean, there's really no maintaining needing to happen.
Mm-mm.
It's just always there.
Always, consistent.
No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do we plan to maintain our friendship as we go through adulthood and all the things that go with it?
Jaydah, how do we plan on doing this? I
mean,
think
it just kind of goes with our last question.
Yeah,
like,
just keep
I don't
going.
see us ever not becoming not friends.
I just think so much of our life we just see it planned with each other.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we want to have our kids be best friends. And, I mean, she's going to be the maid of honor at my wedding.
I'm already planning.
Yes. So, I don't know. I think...
just continue.
Yeah.
I think that's all in God's hands.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. And why did we want to do this podcast?
Why not? I mean,
Exactly. We've talked about starting our own podcast.
This is our first test run.
We could get some feedback.
We could.
Maybe they're like, don't do another podcast ever again, which would just crush our dreams a little bit, but it's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But we have talked about starting our own podcast, so we thought, why not see how it goes on?
And honestly, we just talking is just, we could talk forever.
We could talk for hours.
And I think we talked about some pretty good stuff.
Oh, yeah. We're pretty interesting people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we jump into the actual questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the first question, we have come up with these questions, by the way, so
We did.
if you're wondering where they came from. How was it different growing up in a church-going family and a family where it wasn't as consistent to go to church?
Yeah. So, like I said, I grew up in the military. And I think anybody growing up, whoever you are, you grow up in some type of community. For you, it was a church community. But for me, it was like a military community, which included a lot of moving around. So a lot of new family and friends, but a lot of moving from all those family and friends. So me and my parents, they did go to church, and they definitely knew of faith, but I don't think they didn't necessarily have a relationship by example. So that wasn't something that I saw a lot. And with us moving around so much, we never clicked inside of community. So it was really just us 5. But one thing I'll say is like, with that, God was always so evident in my life. Like, looking back at it, obviously I didn't know it was Jesus, but the fact that in all of the moving around, I always had the 5 people in my family, because it's me, my brothers, and my parents. And I mean, we've been through so much, but one consistent thing is God's love has always been our foundation without knowing it was God.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Do you wish that you would have grown up in like a church-going family every Sunday?
You know, I don't know, because I mean, that's just not how it went.
Yeah. That's
just not what happened. And I don't regret anywhere where God has me now. So, I mean, it's definitely, whenever I like look at your family and stuff, like it's, you think about it, it's like, how different would it have been if I
like,
did
where
grow
would you
up in
be
a
now
church?
if you grew up in like a church-going family?
But I don't know, because then that would just change so much. And I'm so thankful that God, his love was always in our family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me,
Let's hear it.
I mean, I wasn't only like a church-going family. My dad was the pastor, so I like was at the church all the time growing up. And he actually planted a church in Wyoming when I was like a baby, so that was the only church I knew for a while. And I think a lot of it is honestly not just like a church-going family, that my dad was the pastor. And so there's a lot of expectation on his kids, just because like pastors' kids, there's stereotypes for them. And it's either like you're like this perfect kid, you're like serving in the church, you know, you have this perfect relationship with God, or you're like this rebellious kid who like is in jail, like that kind of thing. And so it was hard. I think younger me wished that my dad wasn't a pastor and that I didn't grow up going to church every Sunday. But I think looking back now, I liked being like a pastor's kid, and I still do.
Yeah.
And like my parents making us go to church when we were younger, a lot of kids would like rebel against that. But I think it helped, because I think if I had the choice, I wouldn't have gone.
Right.
Which I don't know if I didn't go where I'd be now. And so I do think about sometimes how life would be different if my dad wasn't a pastor, because like that like it's our life. Like my dad is the pastor of this church. We're the pastor's kid, pastor's wife. And so I think overall I've liked it. Yeah. And when I was younger, I loved the attention. Oh, like at school in like 7th grade, people would be like, I know your dad. And random kids would just come up to me and be like, yeah, well, I lived with him.
I remember it. Yeah.
But I mean, there is some bad things about it, but there's also good things. And I did have a great like role model for like a relationship with God growing up, because my parents just like radiate that. And their relationship was always Christ-centered.
Yeah.
And that's like what I want for a relationship when I get older.
Yeah.
And so they've definitely been a good role model for that.
Oh yeah, that's something even I'm so blessed to see. Like, I've told your parents that before. They're such, I just look at them and I could see so much of God in them. So
yeah,
and their lifestyles.
I know. Yeah,
it's amazing. Oh, okay. Okay, Jaydah. How has growing up in a church put an expectation on your relationship with God?
Which is kind of goes along with the last question. I mean, it puts a high expectation on my relationship with God, just because I am a pastor's kid, and people think like, oh, I've been going to church for all of my life, that I should have this great relationship with God, but that's just not how it is. Like, everybody has their bumps in the road, and I think almost like a few years, like when I was like 14, it was like pushing me away, having that expectation on my relationship with God, because everybody expected me to have like this perfect relationship. And I got in like a routine of like going to church, and I served at the church for a while, and I had this great routine of like doing the church activities. And like on the outside, I had a great relationship with God, but obviously on the inside I didn't. And I was just going farther away from God, even though I was doing the church activities that you would do if you had like a good relationship with God. So I think it did have its negative impacts on my relationship with God, having such high expectations. But now, I mean, there's not really any expectations now. I think, especially since we moved to a new church, and it's so much bigger than our last one, that like people don't know me from when I was a baby. Yeah. And they're like, they don't come to me like, I used to change your diapers. It's like, okay, well, I don't remember that. So, but I think it's definitely helped moving and getting away from just like people who just knew me from when I was a baby. I just think because they just knew this perfect little girl, but obviously that's not who I was. So yeah.
How did God show up in your life outside of the church?
Well, whenever I think about this question or hear this question, one moment always, I guess one time in my life always pops up. And it's like the time frame from like 2020 to 2021, which obviously 2020 was a hard year for literally everybody in the world. Everybody went through different challenges and struggles. And for me, like, it wasn't even like till the later kind of end of 2020 where everybody was kind of like getting antsy, but like COVID was still going on, and we were still kind of like, we could get on lockdown. And so I started like getting really depressed, and I had anxiety, and I was just like in my room all the time. And I would like stay up till 7 a.m. and sleep all day, and wake up for dinner time, and then do it over again. And it was really bad. And so that was like the end of 2020. And then in December of 2020, I had a surgery. I had appendicitis, so I had a major surgery. And then after that, it just like got worse, because then I could not leave my bed. And so the result of that, the way I would like cope with my depression would be self-harm. And I struggled with that for a few months. And into 2021, I started seeing a therapist. And she was a Christian therapist, and she was really good. And I went for like maybe 2 months, but I just wasn't open to the experience. Yeah. And so it didn't really work. She was a great therapist, but I just didn't I didn't want to do it. And so I just pretended that I was okay so I could stop seeing her. And at this time I had like no relationship with Jesus. Like, I was like as far as I could go. And and then after that, I like fell back into self-harm and depression and anxiety. Yeah. And I was also being homeschooled, so I didn't have any social aspect. Yeah. And so I guess it was when basically when we moved, because in 2021, we also found out that I was moving. Yes. And that made everything worse, because I found out I was moving away from my only friend and the only town I ever knew. Even though I was excited to move to Texas and, have a fresh start, I was very sad that I was going to be leaving everything I knew. Yeah. And so, But I think moving was probably the best thing for both of us, honestly.
Yeah.
I was able to get a fresh start, and nobody knew like who I was and what my past was and who my dad was. And so I got to start new with myself and my relationship with God. And I think there was just so many amazing godly things that happened with us moving.
Yeah.
And I think that when we moved, that was like the time that he showed up most in my life, like outside of the church, because he got me out of that dark time and that addiction, and he's still going. And I'm doing great now. So
yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, I even saw that because I was there with you for before and after, but I just remember whenever I visited you the first time after you moved, and you were glowing.
Yeah,
like
it was awesome.
And it was that hard time that had to happen for you to see that desperation for God. So.
When is a time that God showed up for you outside of church?
Well, I mean, God shows up all the time in the simplest things, like a morning sunrise. But one that I could see is like that was always a constant, even when I didn't recognize it, was through my family. Like my family, we had a family trial growing up. It was that dealt with addiction, and God's healed that situation now, but one thing that was always so evident was that his hand was always on that situation, even when I didn't recognize it wasn't, because he showed love towards me through the love towards through my parents. And I know now that that's what kept us together, was that his love was keeping us together. But that problem of addiction, whenever I grew up and started trying to find my place in the world, that kind of personally affected me more. And as I started looking for my worth and validation, like in the world, or just things that you can't have that validation because it's not God. And that caused me to develop kind of an eating disorder that I struggled with controlled my life for so long, and it like captivated me. Because I feel like for so long I thought the only way out was in the world. But where God showed up it wasn't in him telling me how perfect I was, or telling me that, or even putting me even to a bigger standard, but it was that he covered me in a love that wanted nothing back.
Right.
That was just perfect.
Yeah.
And he didn't expect anything from me or like that, but it was just him making me realize that I would never be enough for the world, but that's okay, because the world would never be enough for me either. Yeah. And I think that's what, obviously helped me choose Recoveries, because I wanted to love him as much as he loved me. Yeah. And yeah. And how amazing is it that every day, even when we mess up, he still walks with us in that love.
It is amazing.
And yeah.
It is amazing seeing all, just like the healing that he's done within you and within me, and just the difference that the different people we are just from a few years ago. It's crazy.
And I think that goes to show that like the difference of our stories, no matter if we grew up in the church or if we didn't grow up in the church, it doesn't matter, because God's a God of relationship, and he's going to come to us personally on our own in his perfect timing. So yeah.
Okay.
How has the different ways we've grown up impacted our friendship?
How do you think it has?
Well, we talked about this a little bit. I think it's been such a, like, being able to see both of the ways that we've been raised and how we are continue to raise, I think has given us such a blessing in our friendship to see what each other needs. And
I think it's definitely given us different perspectives on two very different families and how we grew up. And I think it's honestly just strengthened our relationship because, I mean, like you said, we know what each other needs in certain times. And I think it's just been better for our relationship instead of growing up like in similar ways or,
definitely.
Yeah. That's really it.
Yeah.
We're just pretty great, if you can't tell. Just kidding. You can ask next
Okay.
question.
Did you ever feel responsible to live religiously because of the way you grew up?
I mean, yes and no, because I think, well, I would say mostly yes, because I think I just wanted people to see me as like a person, as like a godly person, but, and so I would like put on that show.
Yeah.
And so I guess I did kind of feel responsible to like show people that like I do have this great relationship with Jesus and that I wasn't going farther away from God, but I was. And I think it just goes with the expectations that are just put on pastors' kids.
Yeah.
Which isn't fair because pastors' kids are any other kids.
Yeah.
Like, just because your dad is a pastor doesn't mean that you're better or worse than any other kid. Like,
yeah.
I always get mad about that. But I think, yes, I did feel responsible, but getting older and being more mature and just seeing things with a different perspective has shown me that I don't need to feel responsible to live a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, I just need to live my life the way God wants me to live my life and not the way other people want me to live my life.
Definitely.
Just depending on who my dad is or how I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, tell me about how you grew your relationship with Jesus and how you started going to church every Sunday.
So, it's really like whenever I started my relationship with God and really started diving into it, it's like, it's for anybody, it's a light that you can't just put a shade over it. And I feel like that's when my parents started seeing it. They always knew Jesus, but they didn't really know that relationship because they didn't have that as an example in their lives either. So I don't think whenever I started diving in the Word, and of course I couldn't stop talking about it because how can you? And I just think they saw that light shine, Jesus' light shine on its own, and they started going to church too. So we all started kind of going to church, and it's really a blessing.
Yeah.
So
because you didn't, obviously, you were like, you went to church on like the holidays and stuff.
Yeah,
when
we
you
were
growing up.
definitely a holiday church.
Yeah.
goers.
So because you didn't grow up in the church and you didn't maybe like know a lot about having a relationship with Jesus, how was it like starting out kind of like not knowing anything?
Not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I don't even, it all starts in the Word.
Yeah.
Like, you really need to start by diving into His Word because that's what He's saying.
Yeah.
For everything that's going on in the world, it's going to be in the Bible too about how to navigate your way through a world that is needing Jesus. So everybody that goes to the Bible is all starting at that point.
Yeah.
And I just got to dive into the Word. And then from that, I feel like automatically your heart starts wanting community.
Right.
You're going to want to start seeking that. And I think that's also what my parents saw, is that they started their hearts, like your hearts need community. You need to be surrounded by others that love God. And I think that we're still trying to find that community, but we'll find it, God's.
Yes,
in God's timing.
It has been amazing for me to see, for you and your parents, just to see your relationship with Jesus grow over like the past like 2 years it's been now. It's been amazing to see like the differences that have been made in your life.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool to see the light that is just shining off you guys now.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's all the questions that we have come
have.
up with. But do you have anything that you want to ask me? Or anything you want to address?
Put me on the spot like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we could talk about how is holding, or how do I word this? Like, how does public school affect your relationship with God? Because we have that difference there.
Yeah, Marlo is a little homeschooled kid over here.
It's not homeschool. Okay, it's online school.
It's online school. It's so different. Okay. Well, everybody knows that public school is horrible. No, I'm just kidding. I do like public school more than I like doing online school. I think I just like the social aspect of it, and I like having in-person teachers that can help with like my specific needs and other kids' specific needs.
For sure.
But obviously not everybody in public schools can have this great relationship with Jesus, and you're going to hear things every day that you don't want to hear and see things that you don't want to see. And I think it's definitely, I mean, I wish everybody could just have a relationship with Jesus, but I mean, I can't control that. And so I don't like hearing like everybody cuss like every single sentence.
I know.
It's so annoying, but I mean, I can't do anything about it, and I just have to know that like I know how I'm living, and if I can express that, then it could change how they view God or something like that. But I mean, that's just nothing. I can't control anything.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, yeah, that's really.
You
I
just
don't
gotta be you.
Yeah.
And
Which is hard. Being you in public.
It is
like,
so
it's
hard.
Stressful because I hate being embarrassed, and people will make you feel embarrassed when, like, even just like doing anything. And so it's definitely, you gotta be brave.
You gotta be bold.
I'm working on that. We learned that at camp, actually. Being bold.
Be bold.
But we're
both need to work on that.
Yeah. So how has it been being homeschooled?
Online has been great. You know, I'm so blessed to be online. I know that's not an opportunity everybody has, but and when people ask me why I went online, I really couldn't give them an answer, but I just think now it's just what God had planned for me, and I'm so blessed to have that. And I don't have that constant struggle of other
like that social aspect that you have in public school,
to be that in every day, but it's still, I mean, the social aspect is that you're not around it all the time, like you're all by yourself at home. So I mean, but that's whenever I also have to be bold, and I have to go out
and not
places, and I love it though.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I think it's definitely better for you.
Yeah, and it's definitely given me the opportunity to focus on my relationship with God and not have 8-hour days.
8 hours. Gotta be at school.
Got a lot of freedom.
But we're gonna be seniors next year.
We are.
And we're gonna graduate, and I'm so excited. Are you gonna walk?
Am I gonna walk? I am gonna walk.
With all those homeschooled kids?
Okay. Guys, it's online.
Yeah. Is there really a difference?
Okay. Yeah. In a really small town in Wyoming, we are gonna walk.
How many kids are gonna be there? 12?
12 really cool kids.
Yeah, real cool. She's giving me the death stare right now. I just had a question in my head, and I lost it. Are you excited for senior year?
I'm so pumped for senior year.
The only thing, though, with not doing public school is you don't get to do the senior year
don't get to do the senior year
There's no HOCO or prom, or we're doing like senior sunrise and senior sunset at my school, which I think is so cool.
That is really cool. It is a shame, but
you can have your own sunrise by yourself.
I can make my own sunrise, you know. Thanks, Jaydah. Really just welcome. Making me look real cool for everybody.
She is cool, guys, I promise. But she is homeschooled, so you know that does have an aspect.
Right. It's online, but okay.
But yeah, I'm really excited, and I wish, I don't know how it's gonna pan out with like dates, but I'm hoping that we'd be able to go. Are you gonna have a graduation party?
Okay, I'm gonna have a graduation dinner.
I'm having a graduation party. It's gonna be pretty lit.
Oh yeah, we're excited for that.
So hopefully she'll be able to come.
I really hope so. I think I can miss my graduation if I have to.
If you have to. You know, a lot of people are counting on you, though.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year, and then it's gonna be
college.
A whole new life.
And then we're adults.
All right.
And then neither of our parents are gonna have kids in high school.
Wow.
They're gonna be old.
They're old.
Old people. That's crazy, though.
Weird. It is crazy.
Like I have,
it's gonna be completely different.
it's.
It's.
I don't want to go to college. Hello?
I want to go to college.
Who wants to pay for that? Not me.
Are you paying for it?
No, but it is crazy though how much has like changed. Like I never thought my family would like get any bigger, but here I am with 2 nephews.
So
my
big.
2 sisters are married. My
That's
brother
insane.
basically has a wife. Like it's crazy.
You're an auntie at 17.
I know. It's my dream come true. Are
I
you excited to
love
be an
it.
aunt?
I'm so if it ever
If it happens. Well, when I have kids, you'll be an aunt, but
there we go.
I don't know about your brothers.
That might be
They'll
the
get
only
there,
hope I
maybe.
have. Yeah,
They'll get there.
they'll get there.
Yeah. I believe in them. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's all we got.
I think that's all we got as well. I hope you loved listening or watching our beautiful voices and faces.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, can't deny that. Pretty beautiful over here. Would you say so?
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
would say so for sure.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's just my dad's 2 favorite kids over here.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about it too much because the others get kinda,
Others, they get jealous.
They
so
do get jealous.
We try
and
to tone
hurt
it down
their
a little,
feelings,
but
we are the favorites.
yeah, we are.
So
No denying it. I did do a podcast with Michaela a couple months ago, and I don't know, man. It just felt weird not being with my other favorite.
yeah, it was probably weird for
Yeah.
everyone.
So now, the 2 favorites. Which, I would like to add that my parents do make it known that Marlo is their ultimate favorite. Hurts my heart a little bit, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
We're working on
I
it.
can't help it.
She just can't help it.
It's just
She's
who
just
I
that
am.
great.
I didn't choose it, but
Yeah, it shows you.
it did.
Well,
That was it, guys.
I think we did pretty good.
I think we did.
Hopefully we didn't. We probably said like and a lot.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna work on it though
definitely-
because we're gonna do our own podcast.
we are, and it's gonna strengthen.
And you guys better come listen or watch because
Both.
we'll need those views.
We will.
But yeah, it was great chatting with you today.
It was so good chatting with you too. I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah, but can you leave after this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Unfortunately, you are leaving tomorrow.
As I'm leaving Texas tomorrow, and they're making me go back to
I know.
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Which you're glad to be home though.
I'm so
you miss your
excited to go
family and
home.
your pups,
I'm so excited to see my family.
but not actual Cheyenne.
But the wind,
Oh man,
I'm not ready for
the
that.
wind is brutal there. I'm sad, but I am happy that I get my own bed back because she hogs the
Yeah,
covers.
I cannot even.
And she sleep talks.
The bed situation. Okay. Whoa. I'm just gonna put it all out there.
Oh yeah, we gotta.
You literally are in the middle of the bed
I am
the
not.
entire time.
I just
You are not a side sleeper. Let me just say.
no.
You
Okay,
are an entire bed.
whatever. I'm sleeping, so I don't know. Maybe you're making this all up.
Maybe I don't sleep talk. So
Okay, I think you do though, because I hear it and it scares the crap out of me. Well, I guess that's it. I guess we can stop talking now. They're probably annoyed with us.
yeah, probably, but
We're probably gonna go watch TV now. Actually, I'm kind of wanting to watch a movie.
I'm kind of so down for that.
That's like all we
Gotta
do,
rest.
is watch movies and go on walks.
Oh my gosh, we love walks.
We
Don't we, Jaydah? Don't
we love some
walks?
walks. Yeah, we do.
Our 2-mile walks.
Oh my gosh, shut up. Okay, we're kind of exposing ourselves here. Well,
All right.
I guess we'll see you on the next Takeover podcast episode, which will be
We'll come again.
probably not soon, but it will come again.
Oh yeah, and it'll be even better.
Yep. Oh yeah. I feel bad for them because now they have to listen to my parents talk on the next
Oh.
month, the next episode, so it just won't be as
It'll
good.
be good though, but just not as
Not as good.
good.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Sometimes that's what happens in life.
Sometimes
you
you just need
you
that.
don't have to be the best.
Yeah, just like you don't have to be the best like us because like
Yeah.
that's hard to achieve.
Don't put yourself to a standard
Right,
that you
right.
can't
Yeah,
fulfill.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, we'll probably end it here because now we're just rambling.
Okay.
But I hope you enjoyed. Did you have fun?
I had fun.
I had fun too. And yeah,
Thanks, guys.
let us know how you feel about us. If we should start our own podcast because I think we should.
I think so too.
All right, peace out.
We're out.
Wasn't that great, Sabrina?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep.
They did such a good job.
They did a fantastic job. And so, again, thank you guys so much for sharing. Hope that helps some people out there. Why don't we end the podcast, as we always do, with our marriage mission? We are united in Christ, unstoppable with Christ, and unbreakable because of Christ. Now it's time for you to go get naked.
And party.
We'll see you on the other side. You've been listening to the Naked Party Time podcast. We hope that this has helped you be more real and raw in your life, leadership, or your love. Please like, rate, review, and comment wherever you see the podcast posted. We are so thankful that you are listening.